Hi Jen, welcome. How are you?
Fine, thanks. Thanks for having me, Andrea.
Wonderful. So today I'd like to talk to you a little bit about summertime with our kids. You know, we talked earlier about beach safety, and so we wanted to have you come and talk to us a little bit about how to keep our kids from getting super behind over the course of the summer. I know that I personally really think summer should be for fun and that the kids should have fun, but I also don't want them to be really far behind in their reading when they go back to school in September. So can you talk to us a little bit about, is it true, do kids really get behind in school? And if they do, what can we as parents do to try to make it so they don't get super far behind?
Sure, yeah. I think you brought up a couple good points. We all know this is summer vacation, and it is a time for families and it's a time to have fun. However, the research has shown that kids, even typically developing kids, once they have those 2 months off, are going to regress about 2 months. And then when they enter school, it takes 2 months for them to regain all those skills they had prior to summer vacation.
Wow.
So looking at it, what can we do? What can we do as parents, what can we do as families to ensure not all those skills get lost?
Right.
I think first of all is spend time.
Okay.
Spend time just interacting as a family. Summer is about fun, it's about spending time together, so do that. And then in that process, think about how you can incorporate some of those possibly reading skills into your daily lives.
So maybe on your summer trip, if you have a kid who's a little bit older, try to get them to help you reading the signs or that sort of thing?
Yeah, identify what's in the signs. Can you help me look for
right.
whatever sign you're looking for? You know, we're going to turn right at the next gas station.
Right.
Can you help me find this gas station? You're going to see that it says.
Okay.
So making kids aware of their surroundings. They could help you plan a list.
Okay.
So we're going to go on a camping trip. What are we going to need? Can you help me write this list for an older child?
Yeah.
For a younger child, possibly reasoning through what's going to be needed. It's going to be hot. We're going to go swimming. What do you think we'll need?
Right.
What do you think we're going to do when we get there?
All right, so just getting their minds to process information and think about it. What about, on some of the TV shows they talk about that it's, preschool on TV and that sort of stuff. Is there any benefit to having them watch educational TV?
Well, there would be a benefit to watching educational TV rather than just pure enjoyment TV. So there are going to be some learning concepts definitely that will come up. However, children really learn from the interaction. If we look at a TV, it's not forcing the child to then engage. They can sit there typically mindlessly and watch it. We really want our children to engage in conversation and engage in learning rather than just kind of taking in what they see.
So do they need to read like formal books? Do we need to have a scheduled time each day where either we're reading to them or they're reading on their own? Is it really important to continue to do that during the summer as we do in school?
Definitely. Reading's always going to be an important. And for some children, really having that scheduled time helps them to stay on a routine.
Right.
So yeah, continuing the reading throughout the summer. It could be something that they do on their own in a private time it could be their enjoyment, but they're still learning through that enjoyment, gaining vocabulary. But then maybe they could check in with you about what the story was about. After you read this story, I'd really like to know what you just read about. Could you tell me the main events, what happened in that story? So then discussing. For the younger kids is continuing with that print identification. We as we talked last time on the show, that there are some key points key skills that they need to have prior to learning to read. So for our preschoolers, it's going to be having the print awareness, knowing that print is meaningful, phonological awareness, knowing about rhyming and playing with sounds and words, alphabet knowledge, which is another fun thing you could do on road trips, looking for certain letters. Who can find the first A? Let's make a game out of it. And then they're also going to need vocabulary. So making that list, going back to what's needed in certain categories. If we're going to Disneyland. What are we going to see there, or what will we need for that trip versus going camping? So they're really talking about their vocabulary, and then comprehension, talking about what the stories were about.
Does it matter what stories they read? I mean, if you have a kid who loves to read comic books, is it fine for them to read comic books, or do they need to read more, Jane Austen?
Well, I think it's going to depend on the child. It's going to depend on what they're currently doing in school. Comic books are going to be great for fun, and I'd rather see the kids reading the comic books than sitting and watching movies or TVs or playing on the computer all day. However, I think getting some more of those narrative type stories that we really want to see them reading in school is going to be important for them to keep up that vocabulary and comprehension prior to going back to school.
Okay, and you brought up playing on the computer. What about computer games? I mean, there are some that are supposedly educational games. We, my family, will be hopping in the car and doing a really long road trip. It takes us about 28 hours to drive from here to my family's house.
Yes.
And so the kids are sitting in the car that whole time. Is it okay for them to be playing on their little DS rather than reading if it's an educational game?
I think everything in moderation.
Okay.
If we really look at life in general, everything in moderation. So definitely, and there are some wonderful computer games out there that are going to help with some either math skills or literacy skills. If we research those and really find the ones that are going to be most useful. So I think that is important. But going back and simply reading is also going to have its place. So looking at it as so much time spent in either category.
Wonderful. Excellent. So, okay, so let's just we'll recap a little bit. Try to get some good reading in. Try to really engage and talk to your kids. Probably just the idea of sitting down for dinner every night and recapping your day might be a good way that we don't think of to actually keep our skills up. Do you think that's right?
Definitely. I think the one key thing to remember over the summer is that learning does not have to be sitting down doing boring drills.
Okay.
Learning can be fun. And so enjoy your summer while learning.
Wonderful. That's great. Well, thank you very much. And I look forward to talking to you again.
Thank you.
Thanks.